Hey guys, today we're going to be checking out the Cisco wireless access point model 581. First, I'm going to do a little unboxing for you, and then we're going to go through the initial setup wizard, and then we're going to do a few comparisons with the 561, which I also have on hand. First, we have a little information pamphlet, just in case you don't know how to use Google. Next, we have technical support contact numbers. It looks like it covers a lot of countries around the world. Next, we have the quick start guide, and the only thing we really need to know is the login username and password, which in this case is just Cisco. Next, we have a single patch cable, although technically Cisco should be putting in two cables because this is a dual port access point. Next, I'm going to take out the access point, but I'm going to put it to the side for now. And next we have the mounting plate, which you can use to mount the access point to a wall or ceiling. Included are 4 screws and 4 plastic anchors, but on occasion I get packages that only contain 2 screws and 2 anchors. The mounting plate contains additional screw holes, so you could use additional screws if you like. And finally, we have the actual access point. Let me just take it out of the plastic bag so we can get a closer look. It's about the same size as the 561 and 571, although it feels quite a bit heavier, like there's a lead bar inside. And we have the factory reset button and also a Kensington lock slot, which I've never actually seen anybody use on an access point. And in the back, we have a little orange sticker indicating that we should download the latest firmware for this product, and we will do that right afterwards. But underneath that, we have a 48 volt DC connector. Right beside that, we have the Ethernet 1, which is a 1 gigabit port. And right beside that, we have the 2.5 gigabit port. And that also is a PoE Plus port, which you can use a PoE injector to power the unit. For size comparisons, I have Cisco's smallest access point, which is the 121, and it's just a bit over a quarter of the size of the 581. And here I have the 561, which is a little shorter in terms of height compared to the 581. Okay, let's plug this thing in and do some configuration. The flashing green means it's in the booting process. I'm going to use the Cisco Find It utility to find the IP address of the access point. If you double click on the entry, it will open up a browser session and take you directly to the login page. We can log in with the default username and password, which again is Cisco. And the first thing we notice is that Cisco has revamped the user interface. This is a more modern looking interface as opposed to the one that comes with the 561 and 571 models. I'm going to leave the IP address on DHCP, but normally I do set a specific IP using the DHCP server. In the next section, we want to choose the third option, which is do not enable single point setup, which allows us to configure this as a standalone device. And next we choose our time zone, and in our case, it's we're looking for Eastern Standard Time. Next, we set up our password, and this is to log into the access point, not the actual SSID password. And finally, it's time to set up our wireless networks. I'm going to set up the 5G and the 2.4 radios. I'm going to choose the better security. This allows me to support older devices and have some good security, but not the best security. We are going to skip the captive portal setup and just submit our settings. And we are done in terms of configuration. Up next is the firmware upgrade. We are going to head over to Cisco's website now and download the latest version of the firmware, which at this time is 1020. We are going to select firmware under administration, and then we are going to click on the browse button and select the file that we just downloaded and click on Upgrade. Next, we are prompted with a confirm dialog. Once we hit OK, it will start uploading and we will see a green progress bar indicator. After that, we will see an orange progress indicator, which means it's actually installing the firmware at this point. And I will do a split screen here so we can see the actual LED on the access point. It starts flashing blue. After the firmware is installed, it'll reboot and we will log in again. And if we check our system status screen, we can see that the current firmware is actually 1020, the one we just uploaded. And that's as much as we're going to cover in this video. Thanks for watching.